what are your thoughts on technology and social media and streaming and AI? By you coming from, music and film, has it been a difficult transition for you, or has it been something that's, helped you?
Man, if you're going to be in this game, you really have to stay up on that. You have to uh, be able to be aware of the transitions where things are shifting. And you have to be fluid. You have to be able to go with it, uh, to stay up on the trends, and it's wonderful. It's a opportunity to continue to grow. And I always keep some youngsters in my back pocket. I'm not trying to think I know it all, because what's coming behind me is where the action is, where new ideas come from and new inspiration. So I'm always looking back to you cats and the young men and women that are creating, and I keep my ear to the ground, so I know where the footsteps are going.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Just to stay in tune with what's going on.
Correct.
Now, okay, I can ask you this. Now you did some work with Little Bill.
When you were a little boy, probably. Yes, I did. I did. Little Bill, I had written for the series. It was a TV series, as you know, as well as a book series, and so yeah, I had the opportunity to write for Bill Cosby and the show, and it was an amazing experience. It actually helped me get my first house, so I'm not, you know, I can't complain. I wish Mr. Cosby was a different kind of cat for the sake of the ladies that he encountered, but I was able to take that opportunity and make the most of it, and it was wonderful, man. The idea of this little black boy uh, in the world doing his thing and discovering. And one thing I did note, and Dr. Toussaint, who worked very closely with Bill Cosby and was a PhD in education, I believe he was, or psychology. Nothing got past him. You could not write a script that wasn't looked over, analyzed to make sure that the values um, that they wanted to present for black families, black children, had to be present. So that was really a big part of being part of that project.
Yeah, yeah. Representation is definitely important. You see how far it go, because even today, well, like in the 1950s when they had the segregation, they'd do the Barbie doll test. Which doll is the mean doll? Which doll is the ugly doll? Which doll is the dumb doll? Which doll look like you?
Dr.
You
Kenneth
still
Clark.
see that today.
That was Dr. Kenneth Clark, who my mother
Yeah,
worked with, actually. Uh,
really. Wow.
yeah, great man, uh,
Mm.
who kind of showed us how the world was working at the time. And and then here comes all the opportunities for us to tell it our way and in our voice.
Yeah, definitely, definitely need more of that. Okay, now talk about Honey. How did that project come about, and what was your role in it?
Oh, well, that was funny, man. My boy Alonzo, like I said, that had been lifelong friends with Dre. And Alonzo is a producer. I call him the nose, uh, because he always had a sense of where the public was going, what the public needed, what they wanted. And he asked me if I would write, because I'd worked with choreographers and dancers and music video scene. And he asked me if I'd write this with him. He wanted to co-write it with me, but he's not a writer. And so I gave him a stack of books. I doubt if he read them, but but I wrote it, we wrote it, and but he's got a really astute sense of story. So he was great. I would not have written Honey on my own. I could have written it solo, but I would not have thought to write it. Alonzo had that brilliant idea that this was the time in the zeitgeist for it, and that's his gift. And then it was I would get calls, man, at night, and he and Patrick Weitzel or Andre and him and Patrick Weitzel and some fabulous folk in Hollywood be out at some dinner or something. He's calling me at 2 in the morning, and it's like, "Hey, man, are you almost done? Are we almost finished?" And he actually spoke to my wife and said, "Will you tell him to finish his script?" Because it was rolling. We had well, before Jessica Alba, that was slated for the sister. Oh, I can't believe her name just flew out of my head. Uh, who went down in the airplane crash? You know who I'm talking about.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, thank you. Aaliyah, we had Aaliyah attached. We wrote it for Aaliyah. Yeah, yeah. And Aaliyah had been in Chicago, I think, when I was doing R. Kelly. And I knew her manager, who was from Harlem as well. But yeah. So that was exciting, man. And we went in, and it was really meant to be. We went in to Universal. Alonzo, Dre, and I met with Scott Stuber, who went on to be and is a huge studio presence, a huge Hollywood presence, and we left there. And by the time we got to our cars, our agents were calling us and telling us, "Deal's done. We got a deal." And then Aaliyah tragically was lost, and then took a little beat, and Jessica Alba came on board, and then Honey was born.
Oh wow! Now I never knew that. Now, did Aaliyah ever get a chance to read it, or was she?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was heading back to start rehearsals and you know get the ball rolling. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. But
Yeah.
like you say, y'all still did it. But I know she was doing a couple movies before that, so she was getting it up there.
Romeo, was it Romeo's Dead or Dying or something? Yeah, she had some dope movies out before. She was a mega talent, so talented, and that's who we had written it for, and it was a real loss. I think it did well, but I think it would have just gone through the roof with her. Really would have blown up even bigger.
Yeah. She had that star power. Let me see. Now I can ask you. Are you working on anything right now? You got any upcoming or recent projects in the works?
Yeah, well, you know about the book, which is over my shoulder there. Trespass: Portraits of Unhoused Life, Love, and Understanding. And it actually is about the situation on the streets right now with the homeless. I spent 5 years with the homeless on the streets. We had been feeding them out of our home and taking food and clothing to the streets, and for years. And this opportunity came up when COVID hit. I thought I'd just hit the street and start to reveal the folks that I had come to know. And the result was this book, which fortunately got picked up by Broadleaf Books. So I've been on book tours and exhibitions, Harlem, up north, Northern California. I'll probably going out to Martha's Vineyard for an event this summer, and you probably see the keyboards behind me, and that's because I'm scoring the film right now. We did a documentary, which is my producing partner, Salim Akil from Black Lightning, who's Soul Food, amazing producer, writer, creator. And so that is almost done. The documentary is almost finished, and then we'll be taking it out. So that's the current project, and I'm looking forward to starting another project around Zora Neale Hurston and the state of poverty in America today. Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. I take my hat off to you, man. Now you said you started this around COVID. So how long you been working on this? The book and the documentary combined?
5 years now. I mean, the book came out in May, just this past May. That's the book cover, version. But and yeah, and then started cutting the doc to become a book. I did it just hard. I wanted to share the images with everyone and kind of make my community aware of what's going on in the street, what's happening with the situation with the unhoused. And so that started to blow up on Instagram, and people became aware. And a an old executive who had retired and became a had a literary agency in New York contacted me and thought there was a book there. I guess she was right, because Broadleaf Books picked it up, and then Salim suggested we do the documentary. I had been shooting it all along, and that's where we are now. We're hoping to have that completed in the next 2 months. So now it's
Wow.
just scoring and all the wrapping up post production.
Definitely look forward to that. Let me see. We 31 minutes in. I have maybe one more question about that if you got time.
I got time for you.
Oh, okay. Like you say, you've been doing it for the last 5 years. In terms of, I guess, homelessness and poverty, um, during COVID, post COVID, are things getting better or things getting worse, or are they kind of the same?
We're going to see a sadly, a big increase in homelessness. Uh, with all the shenanigans going on in Washington, uh, we've had the fires, and you can believe that some of those folk that cleaned those houses, that cleaned those yards, and worked, for folk that could afford them, they now have no job, and those houses are gone, and they haven't been rebuilt yet. That'll take time, and some of those folk will find themselves on the street in RVs and in cars, and and economically we're about to go through some turmoil. And I've just read some projections that there is going to be uh, another round of folk flowing to the street. And if we, until we really address in a big way, uh, education, financial, the financial insecurities that people encounter, which is the number one reason people go to the street, whether it's illness, loss that makes you lose your house, or loss of a job, so many factors. We have to start to address these things, social injustice, issues that keep people in the cycle of poverty. And I haven't heard a politician say the word poverty uh, in many, many months.
Yeah, you're right. Education is definitely a major part of it because I substitute teach, and it's
Oh,
like I feel like, and I go to different schools, different grade levels, and I've been to 70 countries, and I go to schools over there and orphanages and stuff, and it's like I don't feel like the children are getting the adequate education to prepare them for the world as it is today or where it's going to. And it's like if you can't read, that's going to affect your mental, your physical, your health, your money, your housing. It's just kind of like a.
yeah, it's a ripple effect. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like a faucet. It's like our sink, man. If we don't figure this out, that faucet's going to remain open, and there will continue to be bodies hitting the street.
Yeah, yeah. This has
But
been a great interview.
I'm an optimist. I'm praying that as a community, not just Black
Mm-hmm.
folk, but folk
Mm-hmm.
in general, as we build empathy, and that was the purpose of the book, to build empathy and understanding for a population that doesn't get heard. And if we can start to hear them and start to care for them, everybody's not going to write a book or make a movie. That's okay. But we can take those leftovers out and pass them to that cat that's on the corner, that young lady that's in the doorway. That every little bit helps.
Right, right. If everybody give a little bit, It'll be a lot. So you're right. And so where can we? The last thing, where can we get the book, and where can we keep up with what you're doing? Is it a
Yes,
website, social media?
thank you. Yeah, I'm at Kim Watson Art. That's my handle. And on Instagram, that's where you'll find all the latest developments. And you could go to www.kimwatsonart.net to see the full body of work, which includes images from China, Thailand, Jamaica, places I've worked and traveled to shoot and write. Uh, and yeah, the book is Trespass: Portraits of Unhoused Life, Love, and Understanding. It's on Amazon, but go to your local bookstore and have them order it. Those little independent bookstores, let's support them as well.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, I want to thank you again for coming by. It's definitely been a phenomenal episode. I appreciate the history that you shared, and I definitely appreciate the work that you're doing. Like I say, I look forward to the work that you have coming in the future.
Hope we get to chat again soon.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So take care and be safe out there.
You too.
All right,
Peace.
peace. Yeah.